Hello everyone, welcome to Sharmit. In this session, we are going to take another example related to form control, where we will see how to do the validation with the help of form control in reactive forms. So by the end of this session, you will be able to understand what is reactive form validation process, how to implement it, and what are the benefits of it. Okay. But before we proceed further with this session, I would like to recommend you to please go and check out the previously released sessions first, because they all are in proper sequence and sync. So if you follow it sequentially, then it would be much more easier for you to understand the ongoing topic, because for timing we are just mainly focusing on how to use reactive form with form control for the validation purpose. Okay. But prior to that, you should know about the other basic stuff like what is reactive form, what is form control, and the simple examples that we have already covered. Now, just one more thing, here, for the sequential content, you can refer the Sharmit digital course book, which is freely available in the description box. There you will find more than 3000 plus free resources, which is available in both Hindi as well as English language. So as per your convenience, you can go through it and try to consume it. Okay. Alright, so now we are good to start with the session. Here you can see, firstly I have noted down a couple of headings that shows Angular course by Sharmit, and the second heading that shows reactive form in Angular for form control with required validation. So these are the two important headings that we have placed over here. Now after this, what we will do, we will simply create two horizontal rows that will help us to separate out the form with the headings, just to show it properly on the browser screen, although it is not mandatory, but usually I prefer to go with these horizontal rows so that it looks cleaner on the browser. Okay, so I added these two horizontal rows. Now after this, what we will do, we will simply create one form. So I'll just write here form, and in this form we will define the all stuff like label, input field, right? So let me tell you the requirement first. So requirement is quite simple. You have to prepare one form with one input field, although you can create a multiple input field, but this is just a demo, so I just want to make it as easy as I can. So that is why I'm just taking one input field where we will be applying the validation. So in short, we will be creating one form with one input field, and that input field should be validated. That means it should be a mandatory field. If there is no input in the field, then it should show some error. If there is something inside the input field, then it should not show any kind of error. So this is what exactly we are planning to implement. Now to implement it, we have added already the form. After this, what we will do, we will write here this label, because we want to attach it with some label. So I will simply write here username. After username, we will add here a input field, okay, where I will mention the type, and in type I will just simply write text, and after the text we will mention the second important thing, that is form control, right? So form control, although we have not imported the required stuff for it, but let's see how it goes. So I will just assign it with username. Okay, so currently it is throwing error because we didn't added the form control modules in the app component file, right? So for that, let's go to app.component.ts file. Here in import section, firstly you should import forms module. Which forms module? Reactive forms module, not forms module, reactive forms module. Okay, so once it is added, now you are good to define the variable. So for that, expand the class. Here in class you will write simply the variable name. So I will simply write here username. Okay, and in username you have to write like this, form control, and there should be new keyword before this. So just write new form control. Here I will write blank, okay, as a default value, and after that we will be using one important thing, that is validators. Okay, so this is something that will help us to define the validation. So I will write here validators dot, and after that you can use any of this. So I will be using a required. So what this variable will do now, so we declared this variable, and at the same time we have initialized the default value is blank, and we are also checking for validator.required. So if it is not like you can see here, validator that requires the control have non-empty value. So validate that the field is non-empty. It will check that field should not be this field should be non-empty. If it is empty, it will return valid. It will return the username dot invalid. Okay, but if it is filled with some data, any data, then it will not show any error. Okay. All right. So we have defined this variable. You can see new form control, opening parenthesis, then we have a blank field, comma, then we have validators dot required, and that's it. So this thing is ready. Now we are good to use it inside a app.component.html file. So just go to app.component.html file. Here in place of input we have already assigned this thing. So now you can see it is not throwing any kind of error. Perfect. So this thing is perfect now. Now let's run the application. So to run the application, to verify the things, what we will do, we will write here ng serve -- open, enter. Just wait for few seconds and then it will show you the output in the browser screen. On browser screen we will see the headings and labels, whatever we have defined so far. Okay, so let's wait for it. Usually it not take that much of time. Yeah, now it's come. So here you can see we have first main heading that shows Angular course by Sharmit. Then we have second heading that shows reactive form in Angular, form control with required validation. Later we have one horizontal row and one label for username, input field for username, and another horizontal row. But currently it is empty and it is not throwing any error. And also if you write something, there is no impact. Then why we are not getting the error? We have implemented the validator. Yes, so it is actually implementing the validation, but we are not doing anything after that. Okay, so we should show some messages, right? Then only we will be able to identify. So for that, what we will do, we will add one paragraph. In this paragraph I will use ngIf. So for that, let's go to here import part and define ngIf. Okay, so this thing is imported. Now you are good to use *ngIf. Okay, and here you can define username dot invalid. Okay, and then we will simply define the message that is username is invalid. Okay, so this is the message I want to show in case if the username is not valid. And when it will become not valid when it is when it is empty string. Okay, so in case of empty, null, or this kind of thing, it will throw the message that username is invalid. Let's verify that. So if you refresh it, now you can see by default it comes with this message that username is invalid. Why? Because currently it is empty, and if it is empty it will throw this message that username is invalid. In case if it is not empty, then it will not throw any error. Let's verify that. So in username, if I write ABC, you can see even after writing A itself, it becomes blank. There is no error messages. Why? Because it will just check for one thing, that it should be in the perfect non-empty field. Okay, manner. That means there should not be, this field should not be blank. If it is blank, then only it will throw the error. Otherwise it won't throw error. Okay, so I think now it is quite clear to you how to perform basic validation for reactive form using form control, and what are the prerequisite form. You should import reactive forms module, you should import form control and validators and ngIf. So once these things are imported, then as per your requirement you can define the logic, you can generate the form and verify the output. Okay, so these are the things that I would like to share with you all in this particular session, and in the next session we will discuss more things related to that. Meanwhile, if you have any question, queries or suggestion, please reach out to me through the comment section. I would be more than happy to answer all your queries there. Okay, so yeah, that's all for today. See you in the next section with new topics. So thank you for watching Tech Sharmit.